Hey guys, welcome to today's vlog. Before we get into it, just a quick little disclaimer. You should already know by the title of this video, but if you are at all triggered by discussions around topics like calories, food, measurements, weight loss, body dysmorphia, calorie counting, like anything along those topics, please click out of this video. Today I'm going to show you a day on my plate. I'm not a qualified nutritionist. I did actually study personal training years ago before I had children, and part of that was nutrition. So I have knowledge around nutrition, but I'm not a qualified qualified personal trainer. I am one of those. I'm not a qualified nutritionist. This is just what I've been doing. I have been trying to lose the baby weight since I had my children, but it wasn't until 4 months ago when I started tracking my nutrition that I actually started to see results. I've lost about 15 kgs. Body dysmorphia is wild because in my head, this is what I look like. But then I go to look in the mirror, or I would go to look in the mirror, and I would not recognize who I was because there was just so much more of me than what I would expect to see when I looked in the mirror. So I'm not where I want to be. I'm small, I still have my little mum tum, but I feel good. I don't really think about my body anymore. So that's kind of the motivation for me behind wanting to lose weight. And I think it's absolutely okay for me to want to be a healthier version of myself. I feel much better the way that I am now. So today I'm just going to show you what I'm eating today, and it has been similar to this over the last 4 months. I'm not going to do the exercise and lifestyle side of things because, well, that would just be like so much information. But also, if you are trying to lose weight, nutrition is the place to start. Speaking from experience, I used to train like up to 3 times a day, and it does not matter if you are not tracking, and specifically if you are trying to lose weight, but even if you're trying to make strength and muscle gains as well, if you are not tracking what you eat and are fueling for your goals, then you're just not going to meet them, or you're going to get there at a much slower pace. So these are just lifestyle changes that I have made over the last 4 months. I'm not doing a diet. I'm not just doing this for a short period of time. This is how I eat now. These are habits that I have implemented into my daily life that have helped me to be able to feel so much better in my body. So first thing I do in the morning is have a protein shake. I have children, and there is so much health and nutrition advice out there, and for a lot of us it just doesn't fit into our lifestyle. Especially when we have children, it just makes things that much harder to prioritize your own health and wellness. I'm about to have lunch, but for breakfast I had the protein shake, super high protein first thing in the morning, and I need it in a quick form. I don't have time to be making a big breakfast in the morning, but also I can't enjoy a big breakfast. Like if I was to do eggs on toast first thing, I just can't enjoy it, and if I'm not present during my meal, then I forget that I've eaten, and I'm sad about it, and I want to eat more food. So quick protein shake to get the protein at the start of the day. And then after baby Eva has had her morning nap, for morning tea I had 1 piece of sourdough, 1 egg mixed with 1/4 cup of egg whites scrambled, or you can make that however you want to make it, and then I just have that with a little bit of butter and a drizzle of hot honey, which is a chili honey sauce. This is so delicious, so filling, also high in protein, and also super low in calories as well. So that was my morning tea, and now I am about to have lunch. I have got my favorite chicken salad at the moment. I eat this almost every single day. So while my meals do change, I do eat a variety of different things. This is something that I'm eating very often. So in this, there is shredded chicken. I usually have about 100 grams, but I just used up what was left over in the bag today. And then 2 stalks of, I keep wanting to call it cucumber, celery. 2 stalks of celery, finely chopped as well. About 14 grams of walnuts, and about 2 tablespoons of cranberries, dried cranberries, all finely chopped up. And then I mix that with a tablespoon of Greek yogurt. You can also use light mayonnaise if you want to, but honestly it tastes the same, and the yogurt is better, lower calories. So that is the salad. Really quick and easy to make. I do just have to add some salt and pepper, and then I'll eat it with either apples sliced up like chips. Sometimes I will have some corn chips with this instead. Higher in calories, but not terrible. I was also going to say I've had 2 coffees today. I had a small coconut milk latte this morning after daycare drop off. I always have a coffee around that time. It gets me through to morning tea, and it's also like a little treat for surviving the morning. And then I also had an iced Americano. I will usually do either just iced Americano, which I personally love. If you don't like plain coffee like that, then you don't have to have plain coffee. But little tip, if you are drinking coffee drinks, or a special drink is what I like to call it, just get a smaller size. If you are trying to lose weight, if you're not, then obviously you don't need to be listening to anything I say today. But if you are drinking a special drink, just get a smaller size. So I used to always get a medium. I dropped down to a small, and I don't even notice the difference. So I will usually just have an iced Americano, but if I'm really cold or feel like I need something extra, then I get the small coconut milk latte, and I try to only have one of those a day. And then if I really feel like another coffee, then I do my iced Americanos like I usually would. Now we're all up to date. Lunchtime. Chicken mince that I need to use. That's what I took out for dinner. And I was going to have chicken and rice, but I've decided I feel like burgers. I hate touching raw meat, so the cooking gloves are going on. I am getting it ready super early because baby Eva is still sleeping, but mealtime for me is such a rush. So filming and cooking and showing you guys is just super difficult when I have the kids awake and home with me. Baby Eva would be straight onto that camera tripod trying to shake it all over the place. So I'll quickly show you how I mix up the chicken patties, and then I'm just going to leave it to cook it when it's time to make dinner. I defrosted this from the freezer, and I can't stand the chicken juice. This is disgusting. I've got chicken mince, I've got cornflakes that I crushed up, and I've got egg whites. To the chicken mince, I'm gonna be good and measure, because this is one of the reasons why I don't share my meals, even though I get asked all the time how I make stuff, what I'm making, because I take inspiration and then I kind of just use what I've got, or I eyeball it and I just mix it up a little bit. I don't measure properly, and I don't follow recipes properly. Oops. So I'm going to try and be good and use measurements for you guys today. 1 teaspoon of all-purpose blend. This has paprika and onion. Okay. I am also going to add some onion powder. If you have mustard powder, add a tablespoon of mustard powder. I'm just going to use up the rest of this garlic. That's like half a teaspoon, but if you have garlic powder, use a whole teaspoon. So that's basically a teaspoon of everything, and some pepper. Measure with your salt, and I'll just add some garlic salt instead of normal salt. Okay, sorry, I did not measure those last two. Mix it all together and then divide it into patties the size that you want. Yuck, yuck, yuck. I've divided mine into 4 patties roughly, and then we're going to keep it in like a patty form and dip it into the egg whites first, and then into the cornflakes. And when I dip it into the cornflakes, I kind of press it out a little bit thinner. It's just that chicken mince is quite flimsy. It doesn't really matter though, because it cooks fine. Alright, so that's what it should look like. I ran out of cornflakes, so with this last patty, I'm actually going to get some flour and break this up into little pieces and just do the same sort of dip, 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 and make chicken nuggets for the kids for their dinner. When I'm ready to cook these, I'll pop them in the air fryer, a light spray of oil on 180 degrees Celsius for 10 to 12 minutes, and they will be ready. That does not take any time at all to make. They are so quick and easy, even with the kids running around, even if I've got to put a kid in the backpack, they are so quick to make. It's just with filming, like trying to film and talk and focus on food at the same time, that's what makes this more challenging. So full from that lunch that I didn't end up having any afternoon tea. Thank you, son. Mummy's just doing some talking. Thank you. Mummy's just doing some talking, son. I'll be finished in a second. So I'm going straight through till dinner, but I did get a iced matcha when I went to the supermarket, which is technically my afternoon tea. A drink like this is actually so filling. Okay, darling. Mummy's just doing some talking. I'll be finished soon. So I've toasted some brioche buns on the sandwich press, and then I put a tablespoon of light mayo on the bottom. Okay. I'll do one of the chicken patties. I ended up cooking it on a higher temperature because I had a bit of a mind blank and I wasn't sure if maybe I was supposed to do it higher, but you are actually supposed to do it on the low amount. Son, Mummy's talking. Lettuce on top. I like to shred mine, like to cut it really thin and actually put quite a decent amount inside the burger because it helps to make it filling. I've got a tomato. Got baby Eva in the backpack because if she was on the floor she would be grabbing the camera. Salt and pepper on the tomato. I know people can be pretty picky with the order in which they stack their burger, so honestly does not bother me, just do whatever you're used to. And I personally love raw onion. And then I also air fried some hot chips, and I'll just have like maybe that much. And that is dinner.
I don't know the that first.
Last thing that I'm going to have for the day. I always end the day with a little treat, and tonight it is a bone broth hot drink and a slice of the lactation bar that I made from Breakfast Babes. It is so good. I'm obsessed with this stuff. I have to end the day with a treat. That is a non-negotiable. I'm definitely an emotional eater. When it comes to my grief, eating has definitely been a coping mechanism. And it's something that I've been trying to change, but instead of just trying to change my nature and stop emotional eating, I've just tried to make more healthy decisions when I do tend to emotional eat. So I mentioned earlier in the vlog, I think that after the daycare drop off, I need like another little boost of something, and so I go and get myself a special drink, or I make myself a special drink. At the end of the night, I need to end the day with a treat, and so I just try to have healthier options and like mindful options available too. Today is pretty accurate of how I'm eating every single day, but I just swap the meals out for something similar depending on what I feel like. That is what I ate today, a day on my plate. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I have been getting loads and loads of questions about what I'm eating at the moment, how I'm training at the moment, and I do always hesitate on sharing this kind of information because what works for me isn't going to work for everyone. The portion sizes that I'm having, the weighted amount of things that I'm having is not going to work for every single person, and it's not even perfect for me yet. I'm still learning what perfectly works for me, but like with having children, it is super hard to follow all of the advice. Like people say to be super mindful while you're eating and have no distractions, which is hardly possible for me. I often just have to eat when I get a chance, and even if I did wait until the kids are asleep at night, at that point I'm starving and often overeat. So I kind of have to give and take with all of the helpful advice that's out there, and I just have to figure out what is going to work for me and my lifestyle and what's going to fit in every day. There are always adjustments that need to be made in terms of what things are going to get in the way, what commitments I have, what I have available, cravings, like how my emotions are that day. So I really think taking the approach of trying to pick healthier things and adjust more, but also tracking has been the main thing. Like as much as I do go with what my body feels like, if I'm like craving something, I'm still tracking how much is in that food and how much of that food I can eat, which actually usually changes my mind, because once I see how much is in something that I might be craving and how little of it I could have to fit my macros, I might change my mind and be like, actually I want that other thing that is also yummy. I might not necessarily have been craving it at the time, but I'm going to be able to eat heaps of it and it's going to satisfy me anyway. So that is the kind of mindset shift that I have. But yeah, given that I'm not at the place that I want to be, I don't look the way that, like, I suppose I ideally would like to look. And I did say at the beginning, I'm quite happy with how I am at the moment. I don't think about my body all the time or what I look like, which is a really nice freedom to have. But I'm not at that peak health that I ideally would have, and so I just feel like a bit of an imposter sharing this sort of information, because like, why would you listen to me when you could listen to someone who's already at the place that you want to be at? But in saying that, if you are in a similar situation to me, if you are grieving and find it so hard to control yourself around food, if you have children, if you are postpartum and this is the stage of your journey, that in between phase that we hardly ever see people at, if this is where you are, then maybe this will be helpful. Anyway, I hope it helps someone. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.